Have you ever looked at your life and thought, how did I end up here? You've worked hard, made sacrifices, and followed the rules, yet something feels missing. At 50, society tells us we should have it all figured out. A stable career, a loving family, and financial security. But what if that's not your reality? What if, despite everything, you feel unfulfilled? Here's the truth no one tells you. Fulfillment isn't about checking boxes or comparing yourself to others. It's about finding meaning, purpose, and peace right where you are. This isn't just another pep talk. It's a spiritual wake-up call. Life doesn't end at 50. It's a powerful new chapter waiting to be written. Whether you feel stuck in a career that doesn't inspire you, weighed down by unaccomplished goals, or simply searching for deeper connection, the answers aren't out there. They're within you. And the good news? It's never too late to rediscover your purpose and create the life you truly deserve. Today, we're diving into the struggles you might face, the unshakable feeling of falling behind, the weight of comparison, and the challenges of starting over. But more importantly, we'll uncover the spiritual truths and practical steps to turn those challenges into your greatest opportunities. Are you ready to see your life in a whole new light? Hitting the age of 50 can feel like reaching an invisible checkpoint where you expect life's major milestones to be firmly in place. Yet, for many, there's an unsettling feeling that something is missing. It's as though life has slipped through your fingers despite the hard work and sacrifices. But here's the catch: feeling unaccomplished isn't a verdict. It's a nudge from within. This internal whisper often comes not to condemn, but to invite reflection. Think of it as your soul asking, what truly matters to you now? The weight of this feeling can be overwhelming, especially when you've spent decades striving for success. The late nights, the countless compromises, what do they amount to? For some, the lack of tangible results in terms of wealth, recognition, or personal growth feels like a bitter pill. But pause for a moment. Has all that effort truly gone to waste? Often, the treasure lies not in what you achieved, but in who you became along the way. Consider someone who spends years building a garden. Even if the flowers don't bloom as planned, the gardener's knowledge has deepened. Take a closer look at the stories you tell yourself about failure. Sometimes, that sense of unaccomplishment comes not from reality, but from comparisons. Have you ever noticed how your mind highlights the gaps and overlooks the gains? A person might have spent 15 years running a business that didn't scale. Yet the skills they learned, resilience, problem solving, adaptability, are priceless. They just don't appear on a resume or social media highlight reel. Could it be that you're richer in experience than you give yourself credit for? The problem often lies in how society defines success. We're fed a singular narrative: career progression, financial abundance, and picture-perfect relationships. But life isn't a checklist. Think of the wisdom shared in Buddhism. Contentment doesn't come from external accomplishments, but from an inner state of peace. If you've ever meditated or simply sat with your thoughts in stillness, you've likely felt a glimpse of that freedom. So, if societal standards feel suffocating, it's worth asking yourself, whose approval are you truly seeking? Let's explore this through a practical example. Imagine a woman named Laura who spent years in corporate roles, hoping to rise to a senior position by 50. Instead, she finds herself at the same level, with no promotions in sight. Initially, she feels crushed, but when she starts volunteering at a local shelter, she discovers a sense of purpose she never felt at work. This shift doesn't erase her career struggles, but it adds richness to her life. What if your own fulfillment is waiting in unexpected places? The beauty of this stage in life is that it offers perspective. Yes, 50 might feel like the midpoint, but every moment ahead is an opportunity. One powerful exercise is writing a gratitude letter to your younger self, acknowledging what they endured and accomplished. Did you survive tough times, raise children, or nurture relationships? Navigate challenges in your own way? This practice doesn't just boost your mood, it's a reminder of the abundance you've already cultivated. Finally, understand that feeling unfulfilled is part of the human experience. Everyone, at some point, questions whether they've done enough. But what if that question is less about judgment and more about direction? Instead of letting it paralyze you, let it energize you. Begin small, commit to a new hobby, reconnect with an old dream, or even explore a spiritual practice like mindfulness meditation. These steps often reveal that fulfillment isn't a destination, it's a journey. And speaking of journeys, let's explore how comparing your path to others can affect your sense of progress. It's all too easy to fall into the trap of comparing your life to others. At 50, you might look around and notice your friends settled into picture-perfect lives, married, with kids, and perhaps even enjoying a retirement plan that seems far out of reach. But here's the thing, what you see is only a snapshot. You're comparing your full story, with all its twists and turns, to someone else's highlight reel. Life isn't a competition, it's a personal journey. So why measure it against someone else's ruler? The truth is, comparison rarely reveals the full picture. Consider your old classmate Sarah, who posts about her beautiful family and thriving career. What her updates don't show is the nights she cried herself to sleep over marital struggles or the sacrifices she made to climb the corporate ladder. When you compare, you only see the surface, and it's often a glossy, curated version. Reflect for a moment. What aspects of your own life might inspire envy in others, even if they're imperfect? Let's flip the perspective. What if instead of feeling inadequate, you viewed your peers as proof of possibility? If they've achieved something you admire, it's not a sign you've fallen short, it's evidence that such success is attainable. Imagine two neighbors tending gardens. One's roses bloom earlier than the others. Does that mean the second gardener has failed? Of course not. Different conditions, different timing. Your growth is uniquely yours, and it's unfolding exactly as it should. Here's a practical way to shift the mindset. Start a gratitude journal, but with a twist. Instead of listing what you're grateful for in your own life, write down 3 things you admire about others and why. This practice doesn't just reduce envy, it deepens your connection with abundance and prosperity. It's a reminder that there's enough wealth, success, and fulfillment in the world for everyone. Yours is simply arriving in its own time. A wise spiritual principle often found in Buddhism is to focus inward rather than outward. External comparisons distract from your inner progress. Imagine a monk walking through a crowded marketplace. He doesn't get swept up in the noise or the shiny objects. His focus remains on the path ahead. In the same way, when you notice yourself comparing, pause, take a deep breath, and bring your attention back to your own journey. What step can you take today to move closer to your vision? Think of a real-life example. Jack had always envied his best friend Tom, who seemed to have it all: a thriving business, a happy family, and a beach house. One day, Tom confessed that his marriage was falling apart and his business was barely breaking even. That conversation was a wake-up call for Jack, who realized he'd spent years coveting an illusion. He shifted his focus to what truly mattered in his life: his health, his relationships, and his quiet moments of joy. Could this perspective shift help you too? Ultimately, comparing your life to others is like judging a book by its cover. You miss the richness of your own chapters when you're busy scanning someone else's. And while it's tempting to measure progress by societal milestones, true fulfillment often comes from within. Speaking of milestones, let's explore why age 50 isn't the end of opportunity, it's a new chapter full of potential. 50 might sound like a big number, but it's far from the end of the road. In fact, it's a turning point, a chance to rewrite your story with the wisdom you've gathered. Think of the countless figures who achieved greatness later in life. Colonel Sanders founded KFC at 65, and Julia Child didn't publish her first cookbook until 50. Age is just a number, and it doesn't define your ability to pursue abundance, prosperity, or even a fresh start. The question isn't, is it too late? But rather, what's next? The idea that life peaks in youth is a myth. Imagine a painter standing before a blank canvas. Creativity, passion, and purpose are timeless, and they often grow richer with age. In Buddhism, there's a teaching that life is like a rivulet, flows continuously, adapting to obstacles and carving new paths. At 50, you're not at the river's end. You're in its deeper, more meaningful currents, ready to shape the future in ways younger you could only dream of. Let's consider a real-life example. Susan, a retired teacher, felt aimless after leaving her career behind at 55. Instead of resigning to that sense of loss, she decided to explore a hobby she'd loved in childhood: painting. Fast forward 5 years, and she's now selling her art online and at local fairs, earning both income and fulfillment. Her story reminds us that passion doesn't expire with age. What hidden interests could you revisit to ignite a new chapter in your life? Often, society's view of aging skews our perspective. We're conditioned to think of youth as the pinnacle of vitality and possibility. But consider this: older athletes are breaking records, and seasoned entrepreneurs are launching groundbreaking ventures. Take a page from their book. Instead of lamenting what's behind you, embrace what's ahead. Write down 3 things you've always wanted to try but postponed. Whether it's learning a language, starting a business, or even traveling solo, age is no barrier mindset is. At 50, you also carry the unique gift of perspective. You've experienced highs and lows, triumphs and failures. Those lessons are your compass, guiding you toward what truly matters. A younger person might chase wealth for the sake of status, but you understand its deeper value: freedom, security, and the ability to give back. This maturity allows you to approach prosperity with a clarity that only comes with time. It's a superpower you didn't have at 25. Let's talk about practical steps. If you're unsure where to start, take inventory of your life. What skills have you honed over the years? What relationships bring you joy? What activities make you lose track of time? By focusing on what you already have, you'll uncover a wealth of opportunities that align with your current stage. Whether it's mentoring younger professionals, volunteering, or even launching a new venture, the possibilities are endless when you view age as an asset, not a limitation. Remember, life at 50 is like a tree that's been weathered by storms. It may have a few scars, but its roots run deep, and its branches reach further than ever before. This perspective transforms aging from a source of anxiety to a gateway to possibility. And if you're wondering how to translate these years of experience into tangible value, let's explore the immense worth of life's lessons and how they outshine any checklist of accomplishments. Life experience is one of the most underrated forms of wealth. Think about it. Every challenge you've faced, every lesson you've learned, has added to a reservoir of wisdom that money can't buy. At 50, you've accumulated a treasure trove of insights that younger generations crave. Whether it's navigating relationships, managing finances, or finding meaning in spirituality, your perspective is a unique asset. And the best part? It keeps growing richer with time. Society often celebrates tangible achievements: degrees, promotions, and wealth. But the intangible is just as valuable. For example, think about how your intuition has sharpened over the years. In your 20s, you might have been quick to trust or act without thinking. Now, with decades of experience, you can read situations and people with remarkable accuracy. This kind of insight isn't found in textbooks. It's earned through living. Doesn't that make your journey so far an unparalleled investment? Let's look at an example. James, a retired engineer, felt his career achievements didn't amount to much after stepping away from the workforce. But when his granddaughter struggled with career decisions, he realized how his advice, shaped by years of problem solving, became a guiding light for her. Sharing life lessons not only enriches others, but also highlights the immense value of your experiences. Who in your circle could benefit from your hard-earned wisdom? It's not just about sharing with others, it's about recognizing your own growth. Think back to a time when you faced a significant setback. How did you bounce back? What did you learn about resilience, patience, or resourcefulness? Life's trials might not come with a certificate, but their rewards are far more profound. In Buddhism, challenges are seen as opportunities for inner growth, much like how a lotus blooms in muddy water. Your life is a testament to this transformation. To truly appreciate your experiences, try an exercise. Write down the 5 biggest challenges you've overcome and what they taught you. Maybe it was a failed business that taught you perseverance, or a tough relationship that showed you the value of self-respect. Reflecting on these lessons not only boosts your confidence, but also reminds you that you've built a foundation of strength and wisdom that no setback can erode. The beauty of life experience is that it's adaptable. Whether you're mentoring someone, starting a new venture, or pursuing spirituality, the lessons you've gathered become tools in your toolbox. For instance, a person who's mastered the art of patience through parenting might excel in a field that demands calm under pressure. Your experiences aren't just memories, they're skills you carry forward into every new chapter. When you embrace the value of your journey, you realize you're already wealthy in ways that matter. And this recognition sets the stage for something even more exciting: the opportunity to channel that wealth of experience into tackling challenges like running a business that reveal how much you're truly capable of. Let's dive into the realities of entrepreneurship and the insights it can bring. Running a business often looks glamorous from the outside. There's freedom, creativity, and the thrill of being your own boss. But those who've lived it know the reality is far more complex. From managing finances to juggling endless responsibilities, entrepreneurship is a roller coaster ride. At 50, you've likely learned that success isn't about avoiding challenges, but learning to navigate them with resilience and grace. Each hurdle teaches a lesson, even if it doesn't feel like it in the moment. Consider the financial strains that come with running a business. Whether it's making payroll during a slow season or deciding when to reinvest profits, every decision feels like a balancing act. Imagine a chef who starts their dream restaurant only to find themselves drowning in bills. They learn over time that managing cash flow is as important as crafting a perfect dish. The same applies to any venture. Financial literacy is key. What lessons have you taken away from your own financial trials? Then there's the human element. Hiring the right people, keeping them motivated, and navigating conflicts can feel overwhelming. Take Sarah, who ran a boutique for years. She discovered that while she loved designing clothes, managing a team was her Achilles heel. Through trial and error, she realized the importance of communication and delegation. If you're facing similar struggles, remember, leadership is a skill you can hone, and every misstep is a step toward mastery. Time management is another beast. Entrepreneurs often joke about wearing multiple hats, but the reality is no laughing matter. From marketing to client meetings, the hours disappear. A practical tip? Create a time budget just like you would for money. Allocate blocks for different tasks and stick to them. It's a small change that can make a big difference. At 50, your experience gives you an edge in prioritizing what truly matters. To sit wisely. Emotional resilience is a cornerstone of surviving the entrepreneurial journey. There will be days when nothing goes right, when clients complain, or when the market takes an unexpected turn. Here's where spirituality can be a lifeline. Practices like meditation or mindfulness, inspired by Buddhist teachings, help ground you during turbulent times. Picture a bamboo tree that bends with the wind but doesn't break. This is the strength you cultivate through inner peace. Failure is often seen as the ultimate setback, but seasoned entrepreneurs know it's just part of the process. Thomas Edison famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Each stumble in business brings you closer to finding what does work. Reflect on your past ventures. What lessons did they teach you? How did they shape the person you are today? Failures aren't endings, they're chapters in a much bigger story. The challenges of business are undeniably tough, but they also reveal your capacity to grow, adapt, and persevere. And if you've ever felt like stepping away from entrepreneurship altogether, you're not alone. The transition to a more traditional job might seem like a step backward, but it can also be a gateway to stability and fresh opportunities. Let's explore what happens when you shift gears and return to employment. Transitioning from running your own business to returning to a traditional job can feel like stepping into a whole new world. After years of calling the shots, adapting to a structured environment might seem restrictive at first, but it's not necessarily a step back, it's a shift. Consider it a chance to apply the lessons you've learned as an entrepreneur in a new setting, one where the burden of every decision no longer rests solely on your shoulders. Isn't it refreshing to let someone else handle the big picture now and then? One of the biggest adjustments is relearning collaboration within a team. In your business, you likely made most decisions yourself or with a small group. In a workplace, the dynamic changes. Every voice matters, and consensus often drives progress. Think of it like playing in a band. As a solo artist, you had complete control, but in a group, each instrument contributes to the harmony. Learning to play your part without dominating the stage is an art and a rewarding one. The steady paycheck is another shift that's hard to ignore. As an entrepreneur, income was often unpredictable, tied to seasons, clients, or market trends. Traditional employment brings stability, but it also changes your relationship with wealth. Without the thrill of chasing every dollar, you may find yourself focusing more on long-term financial planning. This is where concepts of abundance and prosperity come full circle. Stability provides the foundation, but your entrepreneurial mindset keeps the door open to future opportunities. Adjusting to hierarchy can be challenging. As a business owner, you likely enjoyed autonomy, making decisions without having to answer to anyone. Now, there's a boss, policies, and procedures. While this might feel stifling initially, it's also an opportunity to refine your leadership skills. Observe how others lead, what works, what doesn't, and incorporate those lessons into your own approach. After all, even great leaders started as followers. Your entrepreneurial experience is a hidden gem in traditional roles. Employers value creativity, problem-solving, and initiative qualities you've developed in abundance. During meetings or projects, draw from your past to offer solutions others might not think of. For example, if you streamlined operations in your business, suggest a similar improvement in your current role. This not only builds your reputation, but also keeps you engaged by applying your expertise. Transitioning back can also uncover new passions. You might discover that teaching younger colleagues or managing projects ignites a spark you didn't realize was there. Take Peter, who sold his small tech startup at 52 and took a job in corporate IT. Initially, he felt out of place, but mentoring younger team members soon became his favorite part of the job. The joy of sharing knowledge added a new layer of fulfillment to his career. While the structure of employment has its benefits, it also comes with its own challenges. You might miss the freedom you once had, and that's okay. Instead of seeing it as a loss, think of it as a trade-off. Stability for flexibility. And as you navigate this new chapter, the lessons from your entrepreneurial journey will continue to guide you. Speaking of trade-offs, let's dive into the balance between stability and freedom. It's a conversation worth having. Stability and freedom often feel like opposing forces, especially after experiencing both sides of the coin. In traditional employment, stability offers a sense of security, steady income, benefits, and predictable routines. On the flip side, freedom, as an entrepreneur, brought creativity, autonomy, and the thrill of charting your own course. The key isn't choosing one over the other, but finding harmony between the two. After all, true prosperity comes from balance, not extremes. Stability can feel comforting, especially when life has thrown its fair share of curveballs. Imagine knowing your bills are covered, and your evenings are free to spend with loved ones or dive into hobbies. This predictability, while lacking the excitement of entrepreneurship, gives you space to nurture other areas of your life, whether it's health, relationships, or spirituality. Think of it as a grounding force, much like meditation centers the mind amid chaos. However, freedom brings its own kind of wealth. The ability to decide your schedule, pursue passion projects, and adapt quickly to opportunities is exhilarating. Entrepreneurs often talk about the Sunday blues disappearing because they no longer dread Monday mornings. But freedom isn't without its price. Sleepless nights, financial risks, and the weight of endless decisions. It's a trade-off that requires clarity about what truly matters to you. Finding a middle ground might involve redefining what both stability and freedom mean. For instance, some professionals pivot to consulting roles, combining the freedom to choose clients with the stability of regular contracts. Others keep a side hustle alive while maintaining a traditional job. Reflect on what aspects of each lifestyle resonate most with you. Could you blend them in a way that aligns with your values and stage in life? Let's take an example. Maria, who spent years running her own bakery, eventually transitioned to managing a corporate cafe. She traded the unpredictability of entrepreneurship for the stability of a steady paycheck, but kept her weekends free to experiment with new recipes at home. This balance allowed her to stay connected to her passion while enjoying the perks of employment. What compromises could you make to achieve a similar sense of equilibrium? The trick is to reframe how you view stability and freedom. Stability doesn't have to mean rigidity, and freedom doesn't have to mean chaos. For instance, setting boundaries at work, like taking all your vacation days or leaving the office on time, creates space for personal freedom. Conversely, incorporating routines into entrepreneurial endeavors can add a layer of stability. It's about using each quality to enhance the other. As you navigate this balancing act, you'll discover that the lessons from both paths are invaluable. Stability provides a safety net, while freedom fosters growth and innovation. Together, they form a dynamic duo, offering both peace of mind and the excitement of possibility. And as you reflect on the journey so far, you might find that the greatest wealth lies not in chasing either ideal, but in appreciating where you are right now. Let's delve into how contentment in the present moment unlocks true fulfillment. Life has a way of teaching us lessons in unexpected ways, especially through experiences that didn't go as planned. At 50, looking back on past decisions might stir a mix of emotions, pride, nostalgia, or even regret. But here's the thing. Regrets are only wasted if they're not turned into lessons. Instead of dwelling on what could have been, shift your focus to what those moments taught you. Every setback was a stepping stone to the person you are today. Take failure, for instance. It's easy to see it as an endpoint, but in reality, it's a valuable teacher. Think about a business that didn't succeed. While the loss might have stung, what did you learn? Maybe you discovered how to manage finances better, or the importance of market research. These lessons aren't just useful, they're priceless. The key is to carry them forward rather than letting them weigh you down. Regrets often stem from comparing ourselves to others. Perhaps you wish you'd taken a different career path or handled relationships differently. But remember, life isn't a competition. The choices you made were based on what you knew and felt at the time. Imagine trying to write a novel without ever making a single typo. It's impossible. The beauty of life lies in its rewrites, edits, and lessons learned along the way. A practical way to reframe regrets is by writing them down, then noting what each taught you. For example, if you regret not saving more money, consider how that experience made you wiser about finances today. If you wish you'd pursued a different career, think about the transferable skills you've gained. This exercise not only shifts your perspective, but also highlights how far you've come. It's also worth noting that regrets often lose their sting when shared. Think of the wisdom you've gained as a gift to pass on. Sharing your experiences with younger generations can help them avoid similar pitfalls. For instance, a parent who regrets not investing in education might encourage their children to prioritize learning. Turning personal regrets into lessons for others adds purpose to your journey. In Buddhism, there's a concept called beginner's mind, which encourages approaching life with openness and curiosity. This mindset reminds us that it's never too late to learn or start over. Regrets often fade when we embrace the idea that life is a continuous process of growth. Each lesson prepares you for the opportunities yet to come. making every experience, good or bad, a part of your evolution. As you let go of regrets and focus on lessons, you'll find a newfound sense of freedom. Life isn't meant to be perfect. It's meant to be lived. And when you view your journey through the lens of growth, you realize that even the toughest moments have shaped you into someone resilient, resourceful, and wise. This perspective naturally leads to a deeper sense of contentment state, where you appreciate the present rather than chasing external markers of success. Let's explore how this shift toward contentment transforms everything. Contentment is a powerful yet often misunderstood concept. It's not about settling or giving up on dreams. It's about finding joy and peace in the present moment. At 50 and beyond, this becomes more important than ever. You've weathered life's storms, achieved milestones, and learned countless lessons. Now is the time to pause and appreciate how far you've come. After all, abundance isn't just about what you have, it's about how you feel. The modern world often pushes us to chase bigger goals, comparing ourselves to others or societal expectations. But what if the greatest wealth lies in the simple pleasures? Picture a quiet morning with a cup of coffee, the laughter of loved ones, or the satisfaction of finishing a good book. These moments of calm remind us that prosperity isn't always tied to grand achievements. It's woven into everyday life. Embracing spirituality can deepen your sense of contentment. Buddhist teachings, for instance, emphasize mindfulness and gratitude as pathways to inner peace. By grounding yourself in the present, you let go of unnecessary worries about the past or future. A practical way to start? Try a gratitude journal. Each evening, jot down 3 things you're thankful for. Over time, you'll train your mind to focus on life's blessings instead of its challenges. Finding contentment also involves redefining success. Traditional markers like a big house or a prestigious career don't necessarily equate to happiness. Take John, who spent decades climbing the corporate ladder, only to realize he felt empty at the top. It wasn't until he shifted his focus to volunteering and spending time with his family that he found true fulfillment. What would success look like for you if societal expectations didn't matter? Another way to cultivate contentment is by setting boundaries. Whether it's saying no to obligations that drain you or carving out time for hobbies, protecting your energy is crucial. Imagine your life as a garden. Without proper care and attention, even the most fertile soil can't produce vibrant blooms. By prioritizing what truly matters, you create space for joy to flourish. At this stage of life, relationships play a significant role in fostering contentment. Reconnecting with old friends, spending quality time with family, or even making new connections can bring immense joy. Research shows that strong social ties are one of the biggest predictors of happiness and longevity. So, why not call that friend you've been meaning to reach out to or join a local community group? The wealth of companionship is invaluable. Ultimately, contentment is about living intentionally. It's about recognizing that life's greatest treasures, love, peace, wisdom, aren't things you acquire, but states you nurture. As you embrace this mindset, you'll find yourself less focused on what's missing and more attuned to what's already present. This shift not only enhances your well-being, but also inspires others around you. And speaking of inspiration, it's time to wrap this journey with a spiritual wake-up call designed just for you. Now that you've reflected on the deeper truths of life, it's time to take action. Don't just let these insights linger. Apply them to your daily life. Ask yourself, what would it feel like to embrace contentment now, in this moment, without waiting for some distant goal to arrive? What steps can you take today to shift your focus from what you've missed to what's right in front of you? These questions aren't just for reflection, they're for transformation. Remember, fulfillment isn't something you have to chase. It's something you cultivate, whether it's through rediscovering your passions, reconnecting with those you love, or finding peace in your own company. The key lies within your ability to appreciate the present and trust in your journey. And as you apply these lessons, don't forget to share your experiences with others. Who knows? Your story might just inspire someone else to begin their own path to abundance, prosperity, and true happiness. If you've enjoyed this content and found it valuable, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate notifications. There's so much more we're going to explore together, and I can't wait to continue this journey with you. Share your thoughts in the comments. Let's start a conversation about how we can live fuller, richer, more purposeful lives. After all, it's never too late to begin living your best life.